Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you another narrated Age of Empires 3 match. This one is a free-for-all. You have asked for it and asked for it and asked for it. And so here we are. We are free. We are for all. We are on Great Plains. I am Portuguese, and I have not played this game in over 3 months. So it's going to be a challenge. It's just going to be a challenge in getting back into a game that I'm a little bit rusty at, but I do start off pretty well. I'm thinking, all right, let's get some villagers doing some things. I start tasking villagers to hunt and herd, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this isn't so bad. Getting a little bit more familiarized with my camera movement hotkeys, you know, and I'm thinking I could be in a really good shape this game. I'll just pick a treaty deck. I'll sit back. I'll boom the heck out of it. I'm recording it. And Portuguese are a great free-for-all civilization. You get a town center each time you age, so it's very, very easy to grow under pressure as Portugal in a free-for-all. So I'm already coming off into the game thinking things are going to be good. I go for this treasure. I don't do any fancy treasure creeping like I should have. Kind of new, but you know what? I need to learn the proper treasure scouting technique. I then look for some neighbors. Don't see anybody, but I do find an Indian village. Awesome. Maybe we'll get some upgrades later in the game. I throw down my first house, and I'm thinking, this is going to be okay. There's only 5 people in this free-for-all, and I think that's one of the biggest kind of, I don't want to say challenges, but one of the biggest dynamics of a free-for-all is when you only have 5 people, and kind of the interpersonal relationship. You don't want to get too fraught. Two on one, right, where 2 people start attacking you, but you don't want to get 1v1 or 3v1, and you don't want to 2v1. By the way, let me interject with that thought and mention here that I don't have my treaty Portuguese home city. I have another one instead, and I did not remember what I put in any of these decks. Looking back at it now, I'm thinking, all right, these are some pretty good standard rush decks, but none of them are the treaty deck that I wanted, so I'm actually going to have to go into this for the treaty deck or a rush deck. And let me mention, it's kind of cheaty, but it's generally the way I play free-for-all. So I always figure if you're the last 2 surviving, you have a chance to win. And so really what your kind of mentality, in my mind at least, should be is get to be one of the last 2. Be one of the last 2 standing, and then from there you can go out to win. And I always find that the best way to do that is to have a treaty deck, to sit in the back, to be the one after all the chips are down, after all the blood has been spilled, to be able to say, you know what, I'm not dead, I'm alive, bring it. So that's kind of why I wanted to look for a treaty deck, but I ended up not having one. So it was not the end of the world. I thought, you know what? Okay, we'll be fine. And whatever happens, we'll roll with it. Why not? It's supposed to be for fun. You know, I'm a little bit more competitive than I should be, especially at free-for-alls. But I love free-for-alls because people aren't competitive. So it's kind of like almost hypocritical of me to be like, oh no, I'm being too competitive, or I'm not being competitive enough, when the reality is I'm very competitive when I play this game. A little bit of lag there, which kind of hurts my micro, but then it ends up working out. I shouldn't have taken any damage from those wolves, but I ended up taking a lot less than if I had just stood in there and fought it the way I normally would have. I was pretty proud of myself. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe it's not the end of the world. I do have 12 villagers, 14. I'm going to age up when I have 800 food. I'm not going to wait for a specific villager count. And then I'm going to kind of rebalance my villagers a lot. I'm just going to go rush somebody. Rushing with Portuguese in a free-for-all. And it's not something anybody expects, but I think that's a very safe way to play it. And I think Portuguese is a very strong rusher. You can use your town center building as a forward building. You can drop off home city shipments there. You can be aggressive. You can get to the herds. He can't find any herds, but I'm actually doing pretty well. We have indeed found a very big buffalo herd behind my town center. I age up with the politician giving me 400 wood. A very, very standard age up decision. I don't think anybody ages up without it. And I find another herd, and I'm like, yes, awesome. So we'll go grab that herd towards us, and we'll probably end up putting our town center forward a little bit towards that direction. By the way, let me interject here and mention this will be a 3-part. Oh, excuse me. This will be a 3-part Age of Empires 3 match. This won't just be a one long FFA. We're going to break this FFA up into 3 parts. It was about an hour long. So that should tell you that, for better or for worse, I made it fairly long into the match. And I'm sorry I was shifting there. I hope my chair squeaking did not irritate you enough. He's a little bit frustrated about something. I don't know. But I'm going to keep looking. And ooh, there is green. So it looks like green's going to be our first customer. I mean victim. Aha. He's playing Spain. I kind of, at least mentally, kind of got a kick on like Spain versus Portugal. I've been playing some EU4. I'm like that's a familiar matchup, but we'll see how it goes. Let me see what else is going on here. I'm still scouting out. I end up finding a third herd. Look at that, those two herds right there. And that's really going to fuel my war machine. If you guys can't tell, okay, it is going to be 3 parts. I'm hopefully going to get them up just right after each other. Day one tomorrow, one on Saturday. But if you notice those 2 herds is what I was saying. That is going to fuel my war machine. I'm kidding you not. Having 3 massive buffalo herds, you gather fastest from hunted animals, that is going to allow me to be tough, aggressive, unruly, expansive. I go back to look at Green's deck again because that matters. He's my neighbor. I want to know what's going on. I wanted to make sure the Russian didn't bring a treaty deck. One of my favorite things to do in this game, and I don't know if I should be ashamed to admit this or not, but one of my favorite things to do in this game is to go into a free-for-all with a Russian and pick a treaty deck and sit in the back and boom. And people don't notice until late. And the way I do it is the only difference I make from a normal booming is my first 3 cards in the Fortress Age are the infantry training cards and the cavalry cards. And with that, I am generally able to fight off any early pressure, and I just sit back and I go to town like a boss. And it's a lot of fun, but it's almost a cheaty way to win. People occasionally get mad, but at the same time, I've definitely had free-for-alls where you have 5 or 6 people kind of sit back, boom, and then this awesome dynamic emerges because you have all these relatively strong economies and map positions, and so there's diplomacy, and it's a really interesting fun way to play. But unlike that, today I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive, balls to the wall. I don't have the deck I would want if I wanted to be more long term anyway. Notice I am building a market, so no BTM, why you so noob? BTM not noob, BTM throwing down a market in the back of my town. I'm building my town. It's pretty orderly though. My houses are all lined up, you know, market. And I'm going to start spamming out villagers from both town centers, getting some barracks up. And I'm going to be doing a slow push. I know you're thinking, oh, you said you were going to rush. It's 6 minutes. Where are your men? Not that fast of a rush, but definitely a slow rush. I happen to see blue there, and I'm thinking, ooh, double targets. But I think we're going to go for green. I think I'd rather push out towards that side of the map initially. And so we throw up the market. I'm going to buy hunting dogs and gang saws, if I remember correctly. My 2 for colonial age upgrades 10% each, I believe, to food gathering, wood gathering, and we're in a pretty good shape. Look at our towns. We've got a good amount of resources. We're floating a little bit of gold, floating a little bit of food, but it's not the end of the world. I end up sending spice trade there to further take advantage of my food. Now, something I didn't notice in-game, and I noticed it later, but I'm noticing it now, and this is something I should notice, is there's a tower in the middle of the map. And now you're like, well, obviously there's a tower in the middle of the map. It just shot your explorer as it walked by. But beyond the observation that there's a tower in the middle of the map, there's something very important about that tower being there that I did not touch upon. And that is that means the Spanish player aged up with 200 gold and the tower shipment. Now, the only reason in a free-for-all why a Spanish player would do that is because he is planning to free-for-all. That is correct. The Spanish free-for-all? Holy crap, what did I just say? He is planning to fast fortress. You guys know I've been away from this game. So please forgive me while I say absolutely wrong things and embarrass myself horribly by not speaking as if I've ever played or seen this game before. He's clearly going to fast fortress, and that was something in game while playing. It just did not register. I'm like, oh, weird. He built the tower. Huh? What a newbie thing to do. No, he put that tower there probably to take control of a forward hunt, to provide some line of sight, a home city drop-off point, and because he sent it to get the 200 gold for fast fortressing. Big deal. But meanwhile, I'm just going to keep popping out villagers from 2 town centers. I'm going to keep working on upgrades and doing my thing. I was thinking about getting placer mines, but I think, nah, I'd rather get some crossbowmen instead. Kind of even out my army. My army compositions this game were atrocious. I can't wait till you guys see them. Feel free to flame me in the comments. Just not good. I tended to just kind of send my units in waves. There was a few times, especially at near the end or in the third part of this, where you're going to see that I kind of mix up my men a little bit, but it was still nothing near the standard of the caliber of player my rank, or really any rank should. But nonetheless, not the end of the world. Now, I am here. I'm going to go for this treasure. I'm going to use my Explorer I Know build TC to crackshot a Guardian, and then I'm going to let my rest of my military go and do the rest of the work. And I named my explorer I know Build TC because the Portuguese, you get their covered wagon each time they age up, and I thought, well, he never really does build a TC. I wonder if people think he's useless. I want him to know that I still care about him, that despite the fact that he does not build me town centers, he is still a valued part of my team here on this map, and that he means a lot to us, and his ability to walk around the map and use his spyglassy thing. And I'm going to shut up now. Anyway, more military popping out, and like I said, attacking at 10 minutes with 30 men or whatever I'm going to end up having on the map. Not the most groundbreaking thing. In fact, if I had been a little bit more professional, as you can see, or just pro in general, I easily could have had 10 more men, another barracks up. I think I'm going to build another barracks now, but I really should have already been there. But nonetheless, not the end of the world. As you can see, I just noticed, or maybe I didn't even notice. No, I didn't notice till I was marching into town. The Spanish player just hit up to age 3, so it's quite possible he has some mercenaries, some cannons, some other things in his base, and I was completely ignorant of this. I had, like I said, paid absolutely no attention to what he was doing, and so I was kind of like, oh man, what a bummer. But I'm going to march in anyway. I'm going to get some pressure. I figured balls to the wall. I lose, I lose, I win, I win. He was first one to 3. I highly doubt that means he has an army of 30 men in his town, so I'm thinking, well, if we can get in there, get some pressure, consistently outnumber him, maybe I'll be in good enough shape to win. Plus, I've been spamming villagers from 2 town centers. He's been kind of stopping making villagers in order to age up. So I'm thinking, well, this is a good thing. If he stopped making villagers to do a fast fortress or a semi-fast fortress, because 9 minutes is hardly a fast fortress. So maybe he was just playing a boomy game, but that doesn't make sense since he didn't have the right town center cards or home city cards. I'm not sure. I'm going to quit monologuing. But either way, I think, you know what, I can handle if he does end up popping out any units, and that's exactly what happens. I'm going to go here, I'm going to park in this town, I'm going to split my army into 2 halves, which is something you should never ever do. Do as I say, not as I do. You should not march into a town and split your army and take fire and allow him to overwhelm you. You should attack with your massive units and keep yourself an advantage. Now, let me tell you why I broke the rule here, was because he had 2 very separated military units, or military buildings, and I wanted to make sure I was on top of either one in case they popped out units. I wanted to burn them down both quickly, plus I felt I had a pretty sizable number advantage. At this point, again, I'm still floating a sizable amount of food, but I do plan to age soon. I don't know if I do before the end of this part, the first third. I should age. But I'm going to keep making villagers, which is something I often forget to do. As you can see there, both buildings go down. And I guess he just wasn't prepared for it. Maybe he has another barracks back somewhere. We'll see. But I felt bad at this point. I'm like, well, I'm taking you out of the game. And then I realized, oh, wait, he's in the 3rd age. Maybe I shouldn't feel so bad. And I think I sent 700 gold. I'm thinking, all right, let's age up. I'm going to destroy his houses to pop him. And by pop him, I mean to make it so he can't train more units. And let me just go on the record here as saying, destroying houses is always a better idea, or 99 out of 100 times a better idea, unless you're facing British, of course. Than just going straight for the town center. If you destroy the houses of the person you're fighting against, they now have to take the time and the distraction to either build more houses and to have the resources to do it. And houses are easy to destroy, so it's a very, very good way to keep them from being able to effectively rally a good counter push. It isolates the town center, and I just think it's a far, far superior thing to do. It can turn a close battle or a siege where you might lose a lot of men from trying to destroy the town center into an easier time of destroying the town center by destroying the buildings around it first. A little bit of lag there, not the end of the world. Normally you shouldn't fight Minutemen, but I had a significant enough military advantage. I thought it would be betraying myself and my push if I backed out and let the Minutemen die from natural causes, because they do. So I ended up thinking, you know what, we'll just go for it. Meanwhile, that's right, I'm just going balls to the wall. I'm going to build 2 barracks on the other side of my town in anticipation. Next, we're going to go for blue and take blue out of this game, or at least just lay it hurt on him. Purple just scatters and flees. I'm going to try to kill the explorer before it goes. I'm thinking, well, let's just go for blue. I think that's what I end up doing. I'm going to keep making villagers. I'm at 43 now, which isn't too bad. It's not as good as it could have been if I was just playing. If I was a better player, not that bad. But for all things considered, it's not bad. Now, I do age up here, and I kind of kick myself in hindsight with this. I age up with the the Exile Prince, which allows me to age up faster, but I really should have aged up with 6 Castadors. That would have allowed me a slower age up. There was no need for a faster age up. I wasn't in any pressure. I wasn't looking forward to any shipments, so I could have done a slower age up and then had actually some better military units on the field. So kind of a newbie mistake on my part, or a poor choice at least. Not the end of the world, but not as good as it could have been. Now my plan here, though, is when I hit the Fortress Age, I'm going to put my town center where Green's town center used to be. There's 2 mines and a fairly sizable herd up there, so I'm thinking, well, if we can go eat that, that'll be pretty beneficial for myself. And so that's what we're going to end up doing. Meanwhile, we're also going to take out Green's handy dandy outpost, just to keep a little bit more pressure on him. His score's still at 91, so he's not as bad off as he could be. But I'm still going to kind of keep the pressure on just a little bit. And I'm going to get my 3rd town center up. And that's why I think in free-for-alls, Portugal is second only to Russian and France. So maybe second to 2 civilization actually makes it 3rd. But that's why Portugal is 3rd to Russia and France. Because the ability to just keep blobbing over the map as resources become available with town centers is uncomparable. It's just fabulous. Meanwhile, we're going to kind of rally our military up. We're going to keep making some men. And I'm preparing for a good push. I'm thinking we're going to get this on. And I don't know if I should have some mercenaries in this deck or not. I need to really take a better look at it, a second look at it. That was kind of cool there. We always complain about back herding being a problem. But if you notice and looked closely, I shot that herd of buffalo and they actually ran towards my explorer. And that made me feel pretty good. But anyway, as we go now, we're going to go march into blue. I don't know if blue's in trouble or not, but I know they're my neighbor. And I'm thinking, well, it's go time. I'm really disorganized and scattered across the map at this point, but I'm thinking, let's go back on the warpath. Let's get things going. I knew that I was recording this, and I'm like, you know what, let's keep it interesting. And I was really happy, by the way, at this point. I was like, I'm keeping up decently. These aren't the best players, but it was just a free-for-all, and so far it's been a pretty fair game. And I think I am leading the game in score. Again, I'm telling you, Portuguese is criminally underlooked in free-for-alls. Not only do they have their town center advantages, their military is so superb, to be honest. It's not the strongest by any means, but it's flexible enough that you can really go in there and feel like you can handle almost any civilization you're going to play against. They have the anti-cavalry necessary to handle France or China. They have the infantry strong enough to deal with Japan. They have long-range mortars, which is fabulous against any civilization. They're a jack of all trades. They're a Swiss Army knife, and they're very strong at what they do, so I hardly recommend it. But anyway, I kind of, I guess, caught purple with their pants down here, which was like, okay, why not? We'll just take it purple. No, we caught blue with my pants down. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm hoping that all my narrating kinks get out of me in this video, and I step up my game in the next one. But as you can see here, we do catch blue in a little bit of trouble. He has some units on the field, but not many, not massing appropriately while aging up. I do kill his war chief in his town, but it doesn't matter because his villagers can build a town center elsewhere anyway. I love, again, playing Sioux in... I do love playing Sioux in free-for-alls and just running across the map endlessly. So I have no doubt the blue's not dead yet. But this is just kind of clear him up. And I was a little bit worried at this point. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm making all these people hate me. I'm being the bad guy. I'm playing the aggressive. I'm in your face, you know, bring it, bro kind of role, which probably is bad. Then he brings in all his nature guardians, and I'm like, ha, I'm going to kill them all. I don't know why. He probably shouldn't have, knowing that he wasn't going to beat me and my massive units that I had at this point. I am starting to shift to mills. I am running out of herds in the third of the map or so I've explored, and I do not want to really kind of go further than my third. Meanwhile, Green's pretty resilient. I destroyed his town. I didn't destroy most of his villagers by the looks of it, and he's got 2 lancers in the area, but I suspect that they're kind of a scout party. He's probably got more men. We're going to need to go actually finish out Green, I think, and that's kind of going to be where we're going to end this video and look towards in the next video. We're going to start rallying our men. We're going to start marching back across the map, and we're going to get ready for another attack. We're going to end this video. The first 20 minutes of this gameplay or so, not bad in the slightest. Look at that. 64 villagers, 3 town centers up. We successfully attacked 2 people. They weren't really super prepared. In later 2 videos, in the later 2 parts, we will have a lot more aggressive counterattacks. But as you can see, we still got some more big things popping. Green resisted our initial attacks, and it's all going. So I think this is going to be right here where we're going to cut it off as we start to send in these musketeers. So thank you guys so much for checking out this part, and before I leave, let me give you guys a quote of the day from Sun Tzu and the Art of War, and it goes like this: "The onset of troops is like the rush of a torrent which even rolls stones along in its course." Ladies and gentlemen, my name is BigThunderMan, and I would like to thank you for returning to my channel again after this hiatus. It means a lot to me. And until next time, good luck and happy hunting. I will be back soon.